Good afternoon, viewers. It's Polity time once again this Thursday. And my name is Dayo, Omoogun. I'm your host this afternoon, and we'll be talking about two very topical issues that are currently trending. And I have a guest in the house with me who will be doing this with me through this next 90 minutes or thereabouts. And his name is Ibrahim Garba. Ibrahim Garba, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, so I talked about two trending national topics, and first one is about the debt that we're getting into. We're sinking deeper into debt, and a lot of Nigerians are very worried. And just a few days ago, when the president submitted his budget proposals for 2025, he did say that he needed $2.2 billion loan. That translates to about 1.77 trillion naira. And tongues have since been wagging. Many people are very uncomfortable. A lot of experts are saying that this is a very, very wrong move, and that so many things have come into the space because of that singular announcement. And now, Ibrahim, what is your take? Is that a good route to follow?
Okay.
At a time like this?
Once again, let me say thank you for having me, Mr. Dayo.
Yeah.
Let us look at it this way. You don't just go out to say, I'm looking for money if you don't have a backup plan. As it stands now, even if we're experiencing difficult times, but if you look at the state of the economy, there are areas that we're improving, especially in terms of revenue generation. The Nigerian Customs Service report which was announced recently, the revenue generation from there almost tripled the figures they used to generate from that area within the first quarter or the third quarter of this year. So that's on one side. And number two, there are so many projects Mr. President has embarked upon. I'm not a spokesperson,
yeah,
but I'm looking at this thing analytically, and from the point of view that now, being somebody that observes from afar, you should be able to identify areas that areas that require urgent attention. Now, the 2.2, or rather before I go to the 2.2, there are other areas I believe that are of higher significance. For instance, in terms of infrastructural development,
yeah,
we don't have enough funds for infrastructural development. At the same time, we're embarking on new projects, especially in tertiary institutions, and we are looking forward to the new year when we should see new schools emerging, especially the secondary, primary schools and all that. They'll have issues with the primary healthcare delivery, and there are other areas that requires spending. And again, don't forget that it's not too long ago that we're able to implement the new minimum wage from 35,000 to 70,000. So this automatically move up your spending plan almost double, and that is why we see our revenue projection going higher. So the only way you can maintain equilibrium is by looking elsewhere to look for money to meet up your demands. And why is Mr. President so confident about seeking for financial support, or maybe let me call it loan, outside the shores of this country? 2.2 billion. To me, it's not too much money, but even if, as it stands now, yes, the debt portfolio is increasing, but I want you to understand, we are in October going towards, or rather we are in November going towards December, there was a plan for the last quarter. What was the plan? We should increase, our crude oil production. And from 1.3 million, per day, it moves up to 1.8 million barrels per day as of 2 weeks ago. Now, if by the end of December we maintain this stability, there's a projection through NNPC that we may get to 2 million barrels per day. So that means we are having excess of 800 million barrels per day as against 1.2 which we had.
As against right now. Right?
As against what we had before. So if you look at it, we are getting more money through crude oil. We are getting money from the international market. We are getting money through customs. And you need to, position the economy to make it attractive for investment. Because if you are inviting an investor to an economy that is struggling, what will happen technically is that they are going to make money off you and take this money away. And if you open up for investment, because we have labor, especially as well as Nigeria, because of our population, there are areas to go that you have cheap labor. So it makes it easier for investors to put in their money. So vis-a-vis what we are discussing. So if you are planning to go for a loan, you look at so many areas. How do I recoup this money? How do I pay back these monies? And then again, don't forget that during the course of this administration, Mr. President has started paying, pay back some loans, backlog of loans. So in anticipation of that, if we say, okay, let me look for more money to finance certain capital projects that will rather add value to our economy, I don't see anything wrong in that. I think
Ibrahim,
that is the point here.
Let's look at it this way. This last point you made has been a sort of a song that has been choreographed over some time now by this government, using every opportunity to say that they are paying a whole lot of debts. And by the time they came in, part of what they said to us, part of what was the reason, the premise on which the subsidy was removed, is the fact that with subsidy removal, a lot of resources will be freed up to attend to infrastructural development, to attend to several other critical areas of national life and all that. Now, two things. As it stands now, while you say that you're paying a whole lot of debts, now you're acquiring new ones. So, what is the net effect of that? What's the net effect of that? That neutralizes whatsoever is being done. What it means is that what you give with the right hand, you take back with the left hand. So as it is, we might have a net effect of nothing has really been done. That's one. Now, two, how do you truly rein in the anxiety of Nigerians who you told that once we remove subsidy, not just anxiety and anger, they are angst, that once you remove subsidy, there will be so much money to do several other things. And in fact, I remember that many government apologists, many supporters of the government, many spin masters of the government did say also categorically that what it means is that there will be little or no borrowing going forward. But here we are. I think this is not even the first time in this regime that we're borrowing. This is one of the times that we are borrowed.
Yes.
So how do we how do we put this side by side?
Okay, Dayo, I think Nigerians need more explanation. What do I mean by that? You use the word spin masters. Well, this with over 10, advisors of Mr. President involved in, information dissemination and all that. It is expected that they come out clean, or rather explain in a way Nigerians will understand the context to which this thing is based on. from my own little understanding, from the feelers I got, let me start with the subsidy. We've talked about subsidy several times here on this show.
Yeah.
But look, I still stand on my position before or earlier that the issue behind, or rather the subsidy which was removed, you know, by Mr. President, to me, that is the biggest decision we've ever taken in this country, because
the biggest.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
But could it also be the worst?
No, I wouldn't say it's the worst, because you know, in business there's what we call big decision. Yes. And sometimes you find out, you know, an issue that is pending, everybody is scared of taking that decision.
Yes, most people believe that that's the appropriate thing to do.
Okay, right? And you find out during the campaign, you know, most of these aspirants mentioned that this is one area Nigeria is losing money. And why should we allow it to remain? So let us take it one step at a time. Subsidy is gone, right? And you will ask, what happens to the money that was gotten from subsidy, right? Yeah. But don't forget that, you know, within the twilight of, or rather, at the earliest part of this administration, when Mr. President came into office, he made it clear he wants to improve on our infrastructure and at the same time expand our relationship across board. So, you know, rural access roads, urban roads, and we should create new access so that you can free up movements across the nation. People can, you can live here, for instance, from Lagos. The new Lagos-Calabar route is to support those in the south-south. You have Lagos to Abuja, Abuja to Kano, Kano to Maiduguri, and Sokoto, all these areas. You need
Lagos to Badagry, Badagry to Sokoto.
So if Nigerians, as it is now, because we move a lot, goods and services, which is, if you go through our Nigerian roads, I used to travel, you know, one of the pains of transporters is the fact that the roads are in bad shape. So if the roads are in bad shape, you find that the cost of fueling and other, you know, apart from cost of fueling that goes up, transport is high. It affects everything, every facet of human life. So removing subsidy, Dayo, is one of the biggest decisions. So, and to free up this money, what do you use this money for? Remember, there were a lot of agitation. People want better life, and people want to see our standard of living improve. But again, in between, we had problem with petroleum pricing between Dangote and NNPCL. That tango lasted for some time because we begin to question, these are, NNPC is now public liability company. Dangote refinery is owned by an individual or even if it's a group. But again, between these two giants, these energy giants, who is dictating to who? So that led us to a situation whereby what should be the appropriate, you know, product pricing for petroleum products? It took us a while before Mr. President intervened, even if he was traveling within that window period. He came and said, look, let's Dangote and NNPC resolve the pricing crisis. And in the end, you know, NNPC at one point, you know, they made, they invested about 20%. They withdrew their money to about 7.5%, because they were not too sure whether to invest the money or not. They have their own problems. Okay, you are investing, that means automatically means that your refineries are moribund. That's why should we pay salary? So if you look at all these scenarios, NNPC now went back to drawing board. Okay, the only way we can remain in office is by competing now. And doing that, I like what Mr. President did by reading the Royal Act. It's either you're in business or you're not in business. You should look at it from that perspective. Now, what is the reality we have on ground? The reality is that Dangote is now selling directly to independent petroleum marketers, and NNPC is selling to Dangote at the international price. So in between, everybody is looking at, okay, you give me and I sell. It's a willing buyer, willing seller relationship now. Now, if you come down to the present scenario in which the independent marketers took Dangote to court, what happened? They are negotiating out of court now so that they can have, because no, it's not independent, it's Dangote that took the independent marketers to court, including the NNPC. Because all he wants is, I'm going to be the sole, distributor of petroleum products because I have a refining capacity. Your Kaduna refinery is not working. The only place you can get refined petroleum products now is from Dangote refinery. So why not buy from me? So I think the way things are going now, I see the law of demand and supply, playing out. Because if the demand is high, the price of the commodity goes high. But if the demand is low, the price of the commodity definitely will go down. And that is why you see today on Nigeria roads, very, very few vehicles ply the road, because most people riding vehicles now, they are either transporters or they are on emergency duties or is on a special assignment. So this is
that complementary? Is that something good?
You have to cut down certain costs to service other areas.
Now, this is a country.
No, I'm going somewhere, Mr. Dayo.
Okay.
You see, why I'm saying this thing, because you asked me where is the money going to.
Exactly.
Now, with this happening now, you have freed up some money. And there were a lot of expectations going into the new year. Now, the budget is at the National Assembly. The 2025 budget is at the National Assembly waiting to be passed into law. And there were a lot of expectations. Now, we don't forget that the local government autonomy, is now in force. We have seen local government elections being conducted across almost, 26 states of the Federation. They will require money directly from the Federation account. 2, the subnationals, apart from, from Federation account, they are looking for alternative sources of funding.
Yeah.
The governors forum met, I think, yesterday. They are looking at areas they can harmonize so that they can get extra money to, support the infrastructural development. So if you look at all these areas, you still need, to secure funds to support this at the initial stage. Going into 2025, if you have a lot of resources at hand, as you are servicing capital projects, you're also, taking care of workers and other, welfareism. So I don't see this thing as a burden. I see us going forward, improving, and at the same time, doing more in terms of revenue generation. And that is why this, the bill before the National Assembly, which is roundly debated, this tax bill, which is being roundly debated, I see it as another win-win situation for Mr. President if he's signed into law.
Okay.
Even if there are contentious issues here and there from states in the north due to imbalancing, this is subject for another talk.
And that's okay.
But Dayo, if we are patient, I want to advise Nigerians that whichever way it is, let us ask questions, the policy direction. Why is this money required? What if this money is gotten? How do you intend to spend this money? This money is not there to make money. This money is there to fix project and at the same time makes life of Nigerians better. So beginning from 2025, I think from now till December, the way the prices of petroleum products are going up due to the crisis in the Middle East, which may go up to $85 per barrel, I see improvement in the Nigeria economy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, for me, in all of this, I would have expected that you would pinpoint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas where the money is going.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about infrastructure, but we can also flesh that up and say, we're talking specifically about so and so and so infrastructure. Okay. I would really love if we could do that.
Okay. I will tell you. Number one, we are looking at improving in quality of education.
How?
Especially, the state basic education, state universal basic education. We need to fund it. We need to fund primary health care. And at the same time, we need to, now we have the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. Yes. We need to fund anything that will support empowerment, especially women at the grassroots. And at the same time, there's this student loan scheme we need to fund. And don't forget that we need
to fund, or we're already funded.
We're already funded. Where do you get this money from? You understand? Monies have been allocated. It's not as if as is approved, the money is there. You need to get money, and you should understand that even the 70,000 minimum wage, some states have not started paying because there's no money. So these are challenges we are facing, but going forward, the state government should be creative enough to source for funds, either through banks or supports or grants, so that they too can, be able to make amends when necessary, so that the lives of Nigerians could be better. So there are so many areas that require spending there, and I think we are looking for.
Nigerians are worried because, in spite of the promise, they can't really relate with what's going on. It's like there's a disconnect between promise and performance, between promise and performance, between promise and fulfillment. Now, so I think, or don't you think, that even government itself needs to be a lot more transparent? Because now, even you trying to rationalize it, you are having a lot of difficulties because there's nothing specifically in the public domain authorized by the right authority. I'm using that, especially authorized by the right authority. To say, okay, we, from the subsidy that we removed, we have saved 10 trillion naira. Now, out of this 10 trillion naira, we have done so and so roads. We have done so and so structures on campuses. We have done water projects. We have done light. We have invested in transmission or generation, whatever it is. There are no such things. So what it does is that it looks as if there's a whole level of opacity, that is darkness around what's actually happening.
No, you're right.
So,
you're right.
Yeah, you want to take it from there.
You see, Dayo, and that is why I still put the blame at the doorstep of those managing the information space for Mr. President, and in fact, the entire Executive Council, Federal Executive Council. Is beyond the monthly, or rather the weekly meeting, Federal Executive Council that that takes place. I think there's a need for them to be a little bit transparent in a way that Nigerians can connect, because what Nigerians are feeling now is the situation whereby the standard of living is high, prices of food items are on the high, transportation is high. These are realities. Now, beyond that, what are the takeaways from this administration? For instance, I would like to say I'm beginning to see a little bit of stability in the sense that the macro and microeconomic policies of the federal government, especially through the CBN and the organized private sector, are beginning to see a situation whereby they are beginning to interpret exactly the intentions of the federal government, where the federal government is taking Nigerians to. The most important thing is that where are we now and where are we going from today? And that is why we have Mr. President right now is in Brazil. He has been to India and some other places, attracting investment to Nigeria. There's no way. The only way we can complement government is through the private sector initiatives. If that is, and what the private sector is looking forward to is relax some of these, I will not use the wrong word, some of these taxes and other things that makes it very difficult for industries to thrive.
That should be a problem for the average
Nigerians.
And that's why
otherwise the policies are good.
You have increased tax collection,
and
you have taken away subsidy from fuel. You have taken away subsidy from electricity. And then, there's insecurity, so people can't go to their farms. And then farmers can't earn money. And then the food that is available is super high, much more expensive. Then you have a situation where wages yeah, were increased, but even though they are increased,
they have not been
difference. They have not been implemented.
Yes.
And then the difference is nothing compared to when you compare how the naira has been eroded, the value of the naira,
yes,
the inflation,
yes,
and all that.
Dayo, please let me take it up there.
All right.
And you will ask, what is Mr. President's response to all of these?
Yes.
Now,
the response we have seen partly is requesting for more loan.
No, it's not about requesting for more loan alone. The response is you should find out funding for the subnational, especially the states, is it lower or higher than before?
All right, yeah.
You should find out. Most of the state governments across the 36 states of the Federation, the revenue coming in on a monthly basis has tripled compared to what they used to receive before. And you begin to ask, where is this money? So the problem naturally is not about the center, it's about the subnationals. Because a situation whereby every month there's the FAC releasing money to state government and we are not seeing the impact, you are putting pressure on the center. And that is why I still believe in one thing, Dayo. Honestly, I still believe in one thing, that if the local government administration, become very effective, especially from January, Nigerians are going to see relief. Because monies will no longer be channeled to the state government, it will go through the local government. And the local government now, which is the third tier, they are relating directly with the native, with the masses at the lower level. So there will be pressure there will be no longer pressure on the state government or the federal government to bring in whatever, because those at the grassroots are feeling the pains more than those in the city. Now, for instance, in Abuja today, you have, people. Some majority of those living in Abuja today, it's not as if they have any job doing in Abuja, all they are looking for is opportunity for them to, get something out of. But a situation whereby you have farmlands, you have jobs at the local government level, and there's money available, definitely a lot of people, free themselves from the capital and move to the local government areas where their services are needed. I'll give you an example. Every day in the FCT, the FCT, administration carry out arrests on a weekly basis. Who are they arresting? Unauthorized vehicular users, like the motorbikers and all that. Why are they doing that? And why are they here? It's because the federal capital territory, the way it was planned, there's a logistic system that is supposed to support every household. Okay, that's one. Then number two, even if you have to come to the center, you have to come to the city, there's a limit to where you can go. Three is the fact that these people are qualified. They have the resources to purchase a motorcycle for 700,000, 800,000. Why not put this into farm use? They make more money through agriculture. So I think there's more to it than meet the eye. May I expect that we should do more of community orientation at the local level. If I have the money, 800 naira to purchase a motorcycle, Dayo, why not me invest in agriculture? So common sense tells us that the government alone cannot do it, but we should support the subnationals, the local government administration. So that
one word,
yes,
saying, because what I make of what you have said is that in the course, since subsidy was removed from fuel, a lot more money has moved to the subnationals.
Yes.
Now, even then, does that shut out the need for transparency? Does that, because except if you're saying that that's the only place where the money has gone.
Look,
except you're saying that's the only place money has gone, or money has gone to some other places that we were not told, or money is being siphoned. Yes.
I think the present Executive Council and the present leadership of Mr. President, from what I know, I will tell you categorically, Dayo, that even some ministers complain. They say, we are not seeing money, and we are here in office, we are still waiting for our allocation and all that. Because Mr. President, major concern is, give me a template of what you want to do or what you want to achieve. Give me a plan, and I will support it, I will fund it. So if you go around town and ask questions, these are some of the comments you get from, some of these occupiers of office. It's not as if the money is there for you to come and pick and go. So the money now goes to projects. No, apart from subnationals.
Projects where you think that the process from the removal.
Number one, if you go to the Ministry of Works and Housing, for instance, Works. Housing, we have embarked on housing projects now in almost the 36 states of the Federation. The government is on that right now. They are moving inwards. In terms of federal votes, I think most Nigerians query the Lagos-Calabar, but it's very important. It's not about, say, because somebody have interest, they have to give out this money. Because it's very critical, it's very important. Now, you move inwards. Almost every week, the Minister of Works is on the road.
Yeah.
And the additional, look at the FCT, for instance. The governor is working on a daily basis. Move to the states, the governments are working. So there's a lot of infrastructural development taking place across this. Where is this money coming from?
Could it be a failure of communication?
I think it's just like...
could it be a failure of communication? Is it that the government is not putting a whole lot of this in the people's face?
What I see...
people's faces?
What I see, or rather, what happens... It's not about what happens. It's about the media handlers.
That's what I'm saying.
Being a little bit creative without waiting. Sometimes you don't wait for a principal to give you assignment before you execute them. You have people now more on social media. Okay? If the radio, TV is expensive, why not use the social media? For instance, I'm telling you about some of these projects now from Works and Housing. We should see them trending on social media.
No, I think that the ministry is doing a whole lot for that. But I'm saying, maybe as an administration,
yes,
maybe at the presidency level.
At the presidency level, you don't expect Mr. President to come and sing himself, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That is why you have the MDAs. They are the ones to do these things. So apart from that, don't forget we have over 48 ministries. What are they doing? How many of them are active? So that is why Nigerians are becoming more worried. Say, what is really going on? Exactly. Why are we not getting information? Because
naturally, information we're not getting.
We are not getting adequate information. We are getting service. We are funding projects. The government is doing its part. What about, because sometimes it's good for us to travel. As media practitioners, we should travel. We should spend time to do research and follow up. But you found out who will fund your research.
Who will fund it?
If you have to move from here to Kwara, for instance, who is going to fund the trip? If you have to move to Kaduna, to Kano, to Maiduguri, who will fund the trip? Yeah. So that is why it's very difficult for government to communicate these policies right. And I was chatting with a colleague some weeks back how they operate from the villa then. She told me, said, look, most times we are always on the road. And when we arrive, say, Kaduna, for instance, yes, we have reporters on ground, but we, from the federal, we take time to go beyond what they are saying. We go to the areas of interest. What are the capital projects being embarked upon by the federal government? And that is why recently there are reports coming up that there are over 200 failed projects. The monies have been paid for. You understand? So these are the things we are getting about.
I guess you're coming to where I am right now.
Thank you.
Because if we shouldn't pay for failed
projects. Now, we also have these so-called constituency projects. What they do there is that some of these some members of the National Assembly, what they do is to go back to their, their constituency to buy them, palliatives, rice, spaghetti, motorcycles, and all that. Does this really connect with what we want to see happen? How long can it take for a family to use one bag of rice? After that, what next?
What next?
So I think that is why over the years, most times what I look at is empowering the younger people and the women. How do you empower the younger people and the women? Women should be given this kind of skills acquisition. especially widows, okay, and single parents and all that. So they should be given these skills acquisition. If you train them, soap making, if you train them cake, there are so many areas, there are some young people doing it right now voluntarily on their own. So if government support the private sector to initiate these policies, all what they do is fund it. Recently I attended an empowerment program. I don't want to mention it because I have respect for the ministry. What I saw was over 150 women were trained by an NGO. The NGO spent money to train them. Now, what is the role of the ministry? Provide takeoff. I engage some of the women. They say, look, yes, I enjoy this training. Today I can bake a cake. Today I can do makeup. Today I can fix satellite. But what we need is the takeoff. The NGO does not have the capacity to give you the takeoff. If each one of them is giving 150,000, with over 300 people that attended that program,
that'll be like 30 million already.
So that 30 million could translate to something because already they've carried out practical, they have been trained, and they are ready to go to practice. So if each state, we are clustered, each local government across the nation, 774, you train 200 people maybe once in every 6 months, and you support them with funding, they will not bother you. You see that life changes.
Yeah, so as we begin to round up on this first one, so are you saying to Nigerians that they don't have to worry? Is that a slant of your argument? Are you saying that government is doing the right thing by borrowing this money and that Nigerians don't have anything to worry about?
Well, my response is this, Dayo. Government at the national level, they are under pressure and they are doing well. Government at the subnationals should support those.
The one at the center.
The one at the center. There should be this synergy. It's not about politicking. It's about Nigerians. Because monies have been provided. And at the same time, I would want to urge maybe if the National Assembly can enact a law on transparency. Because they still governors become landlords of their own. No, they are not accountable to anybody. As this money comes, they spend the money the way they want and nobody asks questions. Why should that be happening now in our democracy? And again, they're under immunity. So whatever comes, if you spend it, nobody asks. And at the end of the day, when you are leaving office and the position coming, oh, he made away with 40 billion. Oh, he left a debt of 100 billion. This is all what we used to hear. Yeah. So we want to see a situation whereby the citizen, the ordinary citizens should be empowered to ask questions. They can come. If we have a phone program, if the phone is on for instance, people will ask questions. Mr. Ibrahim will say, so, I'm calling from Karu, or I'm calling from Jigawa, or I'm calling from Bayelsa. These people promise us so and so. Now go find out. We have not seen any federal presence here. No, if you ask, if we take a step further for people to give us on-the-spot analysis, I think it will resonate with government, and people will take back their country because it's about them and those in power.
Well, we might have to leave this here. Incidentally, the phone line is not on today, so we might leave this here as we go on a break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take the second topic that I earlier hinted at.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTANTV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
it's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's KAFTAN TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
This is your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching KAFTAN TV.
Please keep watching KAFTAN TV. It is the best civil station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheikh.
You're welcome back. We're still on the Polity, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television, and myself and my guest have been talking about the new debt acquisition. The federal government says it requires $2.2 billion to pay to take care of its budget deficit and to ensure that things are in equilibrium. Maybe I should borrow the language of my guest, Ibrahim Garba. So that's what we've been talking about, and my guest says that there's nothing to worry about, that government has taken the right steps by getting such monies to fund certain areas that will be productive, profitable, so that in the long or medium term, we'll begin to see maybe wonders, because for the average Nigerian there, you would need a lot of convincing to do. But that's where we've been, and now we need to go further. And we want to talk about politics right now, serious politics. The Arewa Consultative Forum, otherwise more popularly known in short form as ACF, came out smoking this morning through the headlines of most newspapers when they said point blank that in 2027 they will be backing a northern candidates, not just one. That must be across the gamut of political offices. So they say they will be backing only northern candidates. And I do know that at least the ACF is one of the highly respected northern groups. You can't gloss over them. And so when they speak that way, it sets the polity on heat. And that's what happened. A whole lot of people are reacting. Some are livid with rage. Some are very excited that is coming up, and some take the middle position and say, no, that's not what we need. We need to be able to allow all regions to partake. And indeed, because that has happened, a voice came in the morning saying, in all of this, where does the Southeast stand? So there are so many sides to this talk, and Ibrahim Garba, you will need to help us deconstruct all of this. Why would, first of all, the ACF said the government's policies are impoverishing the people and that they are not good for the North. You also mentioned the tax reform bill. You know how the North is responding to that also. And so on the basis of that, how do you see that statement by the ACF? Is it a welcome development? Is it something that they should quickly eat up?
Thank you very, very much for this wonderful question. I'm so happy about it. Yes, I'm from the North. Basically, I know most times, when they sit down to take decisions, they don't consult widely. I know ACF very, very well. It's an umbrella body I so respect. But on this particular statement, Dayo, I will say they should tread with caution, because they are not speaking the minds of the general public of the entire North. It's just a congregation of some few individuals who, maybe by virtue of the agreements signed with certain people, they see in that they did not meet their expectations, so they feel, well, it's time for us to voice out our concern because we have been thrown out.
Okay, so it's some individual elements.
I see it as, I don't want to use, I have respect for ACF because the leadership of ACF is someone I truly respect. But on this occasion, I think we should look at it, holistically. We have 6 regions of the country, and it's not about we supporting the North, the Northern candidate. What are the basis for that? When you have over about 12 political parties, and we have the APC, the PDP, NNPP, and the Labour Party. All these parties, are mixed with people from different races across the nation. So I see it as if you are trying to impose yourself
on the other people. Because we see, as a nation, we should see ourselves as people that we are trying hard, pretending to live together as a family. Least, even in the North, if you go to Kano, if you go to Katsina, Sokoto, and all these places, you find out that so many people from the South residing there. Doing business.
How are they living their lives? Have you taken time to speak with them, whether they are being treated as second-class citizens, So we have a whole lot to do in the North. It's not about politics. It's about what really can we do. There are questions the North are not asking themselves.
Or the masses in the North are not asking their leaders.
Their leaders. The question is, who invented the insecurity in the North? The banditry and all that. Does it just fall from the sky? Okay, that's one question. If you look at, I keep using Kano as example because I live there. I live in Katsina and some other places. But Kano, for instance, insecurity can never thrive there. Because, there's no space. There's this communal relationships that is being established. If as a visitor, you come into any remote area, people will start asking questions. Who is this person? And in fact, if you are not married, nobody gives you an apartment. You can look elsewhere or go elsewhere and stay. So this lifestyle being adopted by certain communities in Kano help to identify criminal elements that intend to creep in. That is one. Then number 2, the problem of the North, is it the center or the North itself? You see, let us not shy away from the truth. There are so many weak areas. Today, how many companies do you have in the North that are headquartered there? From Lagos, from us, Because a situation whereby, I'll give you an example. If there's a telecom service provider, for instance, among the big three, that has headquarters in the north, or let's say Kaduna, Kano, Sokoto, Maiduguri, business will thrive. Because the monies that will be generated from that alone, through labor, is immense.
It's immense.
You don't have...
And then the tax will also be double.
The tax ratio will be... The tax...
at least for VAT.
For VAT and all that.
Yes.
That's one. Then number two, do we have refineries there that are working? Number three, we are just a trading post. People come to sell, buy, and go away. So there are areas they need to improve upon in terms of revenue generation. Now we are looking at out-of-school children. The population is high in the north.
These are the issues that the leaders should tackle.
It's not about Mr. President. This thing has been there for more than 20 years.
The tribe that goes to the position of president.
So when you say, come out to say, where, because the situation we found ourselves, quote unquote, yes, the next president should come from the north. I think we are not too being generous to Mr. President. What is his fault? Okay, people, let me go back to 2015 to 2023. Buhari was there.
Exactly, yeah.
We saw what transpired. Tell me, Dayo, is there any state government or is there any state governor that being owed by Buhari before he left office? The answer is no.
So
wait, Dayo, wait. No, wait, I'm going somewhere.
Right.
Let us go to the Anchor Borers program that took place.
Who enjoyed the Anchor Borers?
They engaged a CBN official.
Yes.
I don't want to mention his name.
Yes.
There was a program of which I attended. Look, you see, Mr. Ibrahim, the first tranche, the first monies that were made possible to farmers in Kano was about 36 billion. These people collected this money, and the money disappeared.
They think it's part of the national cake.
Some people say it's national cake. Buhari is okay, no problem. Give them more. Now, 16 billion or thereabout was approved through CBN, Emefiele. Okay, Emefiele we are dragging today. Now, when that money was released, they said, okay, there's a caveat. If you want us to give you 1 million naira, show us your farm.
First of all,
we'll give you 75. We'll invest 75% on produce. That will give you 25% to manage the farms. A lot of people went back. Now,
because from the very beginning they didn't have.
There was no plan.
Exactly.
Because their plan is, let us get this money.
Let's get our own.
Get our own. Most of them ran away with this money. That money has not been recovered. Recently, when Tinubu came on board, so we need that money.
Exactly.
So that
the new CBN government,
the new CBN can also say we need that money. Give us back our money. And if you put pressure, no, it's going to cost you 2027. This is not what we should be talking about now. That's why I say, most times if you go through the headlines, I like people to ask questions. Our friends to ask this question: is Tinubu the problem, or is the National Assembly the problem, or is the Federal Executive Council the problem? We have ministers from there. So why now you are saying no? No. I think I fault that statement for ACF with due respect. This should not happen. This should not come from ACF. They should withdraw that statement because, one, they are not being fair to Mr. President. He has done all what is necessary.
No, are they being fair to other Nigerians?
To other Nigerians. We have people from the southeast, southwest, and all that. South, even north central. You understand? We should show respect and maturity. For the fact that we want to politic, don't generalize it.
And don't get malicious and mischievous.
Thank you. That is why I speak point blank here for whoever cares to listen. My family, they are in Kano. I'm from Kano now. Look, let me tell you that we should tell ourselves the truth. It's not Mr. President that is a problem. Now we have, leadership at the State Assembly. We have those at the National Assembly. You have the governors. What are they doing? What is the performance? Let us measure performance. Let us examine
performance indicators.
Let us examine what they have done within the 12 calendar months they spent in office.
Yeah.
Roll back the years and see what happened. How many of them delivered?
No, as we speak,
I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm angry too.
Because
see, just last week was it, or Yes, last week or early this week, it was reported that I think 34 states, is it 34 states or 24 states, are unable to do their counterpart funding for UBEC funding.
That is what I'm saying. Imagine that.
And most of these states are in the north.
So I'm saying that. So our problem is not about politicking now.
How do you take away the out of school children from the street?
From the street,
will not fund primary education.
So you think we don't have the capacity to make education free and feed these kids in school, in primary schools? We have. How much does it cost, Dayo? What is their population? So there's a lot of disconnect. I think we are getting it all wrong. ACF should please hold brief. ACF should be more involved in technological advancement, connect with the new world, because what I see, what ACF should be doing now is this: engaging young people that have ideas. Okay, let us harmonize these ideas. Mr. President, this is our template that is like it happened in other places. Lagos, they implemented their template because they have it. Rivers, Enugu, go and see what is happening in Enugu today. PDP. Go and see wonders in Imo. These guys are moving forward. Or is it Abia? So now we are not copying and pasting. We are not creating. The next thing is when the federal government initiative. No, it's not supposed to happen that way. We should begin to ask questions.
For one of the areas, for example, is this out of school children thing. I remember clearly that under Jonathan, there were the Amajiri schools. I mean, I think that that's something, for example, that the ACF can say, see, I guess we got it wrong the other time. Can you please give us back those schools? It may not necessarily be called Amajiri schools. It might be called whatsoever, but it will be targeted at removing those children from the streets. I think those are the kind of agenda that ACF should be raising.
Thank you very much. Apart from that, the
agenda ACF should be emphasizing is how do we ensure that insecurity is stamped out in the north so that people can go back to their farms and generate earnings.
Let it not be as if maybe I'm aligning with what you are saying. I'm looking at it from a broader perspective. Dayo, what I expect ACF to have done is this. First, let us issue a letter commending Mr. President for his war against banditry, the success recorded so far. That is one.
Because whether we agree or not, I think that a whole lot has happened in that area.
That's number one. Issue a statement to Mr. President on the loss and demise of Lagbaja.
At least
we lost an icon there.
To commiserate with him.
To commiserate with him. Number three, you make a statement categorically. So, sir, can you grant us an audience within the space of 3 weeks so that we can rub minds and see where we can collaborate to move, to engage, more women or young people. There are areas, there's a way you project an agenda. These are not kids. These are mature people. They have seen it all. They have occupied higher offices. And that's why you see we have groups emerging on a daily basis in the north. So we shouldn't see, these are not the kind of people I expect them to lead me. The kind of people I want them to lead me is to tell me, look, with this youth population in Kano, Sokoto, Maiduguri, look at what is happening in Borno State today, what the governor is doing. Every week he's carrying out an empowerment program. Every week there's a new project that has been commissioned in Borno State. Are we seeing that happening in other states of the north? So I expect that first, Iowa should carry out something like, a mission, visiting, going around the 19 northern states, consulting widely.
And then do a kind of a comparative analysis.
Something like a peer review
thing.
Look, it's happening in Bauchi. It's not about the political party. In Adamawa, it's not about the political party. What are these governors doing? How many times have they taken time to visit these places? Within the lifespan of your administration as the leader of the ACF, you have the mandate of the North. Go to Benue, go to Plateau, go and see wonders in Plateau, go and see in Taraba. They're making heroes. Then you not come out with a statement that no, they're not to challenge you, no. And that is why I say, Dayo, sometimes when you mention this statement, I said, no, it's an opportunity for me to address these issues. I'm a young man. But I will not say something is right and I'll turn it black. I know our problems. Our problem is that, some of these older people, their wealth is for them and their children. And you go to check, go do a checklist, you find that some of their kids are not even in Nigeria.
Exactly.
They are schooling overseas.
Yeah.
And some of them, their families, they are not here. Their interest is politics.
That's all.
Now, okay, fine. You want it in the north. Buhari did 8 years. What did you benefit?
And what's the spectacular thing you benefited?
That is one. Now, Buhari is there relaxing in the world because he has seen it all. He has achieved his lifetime ambition. Now we have a new king in the house. And it's not too long. You say we should engage in politics. It's not too long. Atiku will be, everybody is firing this man from all, I think even if we play politics, there's one thing I always want us to look out for. What should we be doing now with the wealth we have in this country? Look at gold mining in Zamfara. You have not spoken about that. Illegal mining everywhere. You have not spoken about it. Children out of school, we have not spoken about it. The Almajiri syndrome, we have not spoken about it. We are losing it daily. The South, look, Lagos today, they are talking trillions in budgeting.
Yeah.
You think it's overnight? Somebody laid a template. Tinubu did all these things. Maru has said the template. So, how many governors in the north will come out to say, okay, I set the template for my states?
There are a whole lot of issues. There's a whole drug issue in the north.
So I think
with women and young chaps involved.
I am advising the ACF to create another wing, maybe for young people, to come out to support them. Right? That is one. Then number two, they should embark on state tours to carry out peer review. And at the same time, they should be engaging the governors on a periodic basis, every 90 days. Let's sit down with our governors.
What have we done?
The Governors Forum, the Northern Governors Forum, led by, the Gombe State Governor. Yes, talk to ACF. What are your expectations? How can we get it right? See, if you have these bodies, if you have the governors coming to meet you, to rub minds with you, you automatically you are forced to be reckoned with. But now what do you have? Do you have capacity to even challenge Mr. President? It's laughable. Come on. We should go beyond this. It's just mere politicking. They just want to remain relevant and say, okay, we have said something. I say with due respect to them. But again, we are going beyond that now. Nigeria is beyond that. We are going, the next time they should be seeing Nigerian, their kids will surprise them. Technology. Look, Dayo, me and you are talking here today. I have some young people in Abuja today. They are making millions on every minute.
Of course. Yeah.
Because they are online trading.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And those opportunities are open to everybody.
You see, go to these private universities. Some of these young people sponsor themselves.
Oh, sure, yes.
I have a friend whose son, he told me, look, Mr. Ibrahim, my son sponsored him. So he paid 2.3 million tuition fees with ease. I said, how? He said, boy, I don't know. I said, because they are trading online. So, technology.
It's not all of them that are involved in scams.
No, it's not scam.
Yes, it's not scam. There are
these are forex
businesses. So apart from forex, there are a whole lot.
Dayo, you see, we are just giving it a generic name. These boys, they will invest their $200, $300. They are making money. Some of them make $20 per day.
A whole lot is going on, and
some of them make so if you make, for instance, maybe $20 every week in a month, okay, so you see them living very comfortably. Then you come to attack them. They are Yahoo boys. No, allow these guys.
There are plenty of them who
so
are.
I think we, from the talent pool we have in the north, since we have this talent pool, the young population, what our advice is this? It's very simple. The governors should engage them. If this is online business is going to help them, invest in it. Okay, if you are good, how much do you want me to support you with? Is it $200 or $300? Now with this money, I've sown a seed.
Exactly.
Now, if you are an undergraduate, the scholarship I'm giving you cover the duration of your course in the university. Instead of giving you 100, 200, I'll give you $1,000. From now, don't ask me of any money. And I want to see you grow. And at the end of the day, at the end of 4 years, I want to see a report. There should be a ministry to supervise that. So there are so many ways we can encourage young people. And that's why I say this local government administration, we too will have a role to play, to advise them, give them proposals on how they can engage these young people who have, core members coming out, after their services. What are they doing? No jobs. You create these jobs, you create these opportunities. There's so many, that's why I say, so much money within the subnationals, but they don't know what to do with the money. The money's in the banks.
I think that the ACF people watching you now are very cross with you. I hope that they don't send some people to...
No, these are the facts of the matter.
No, that's on a lighter. That's just on a lighter.
Yes.
That's the truth. That's the truth you've just put on the table. But I think that even much more than that, there's a whole lot of reorientation that is required of people in the north. Because there's this attitude, there's this reading from Southerners that the northern people always just want to be in control of the politics. Even if they don't bring any other thing to the table, they think that once you wield the political power, every other thing can be whipped into place. It's true, but it's not. What we have noticed and what you can testify to is that this has not translated to a better life for the generality of the northern people. And I think that now a whole lot of people are getting more educated in the north and they cannot continue. See, I saw something today. I didn't have the time. I just saw which one is the most stingy tribe. It was on Facebook. I was busy. Which one is the most stingy tribe in the country? My immediate answer, I don't know whether I can share that on air.
Please.
But the truth is that there are people, you would think that they are generous. No, they are very stingy. What they do is that they gather people, peasants and all that, and give them handouts. And gather them on Fridays and give them food, some very dehumanizing, very ugly sights to behold. You just put people in their dirty clothes, in their uncared for state, and you give them food for that day. Food that is not even well presented, but because of the level of poverty, because of the level of hunger, they think that they are being helped. They are not being helped.
You see,
so all that, those are some of the things that the average northerner who is educated must begin to think about as of now.
No, there's a way we can move out of this. Like I mentioned earlier, you see, I don't see people maybe out of school within the labor market as being lazy or not productive.
It's just many times it's lack of opportunity.
Apart from lack of opportunity, we should begin to think of how we can change our curricula in schools.
Correct, good one. Yeah.
Because we should be more enterprising, we should be more creative, we should be more practical.
Skills-based, yes.
Now, I'm happy recently the NYSC or the federal government has removed the embargo on core members. They can serve in the banks now.
They can serve everywhere.
They can serve in, the NNPC and other bigger corporations now. But, at the end of the day, who are those children going there?
That's the point.
Okay.
That's the whole point. And that's where I have my issues with this new directive.
And that is why if I have my way, as a graduate, or maybe you're about to leave school, the question you ask yourself is, am I going to queue or wait for that job to come to me?
Or can I go and create something?
Or can I go and create something?
Yes, add value to society.
We should be looking at, with so many people, if you look at the story of Dangote, how he started today, where he is, it started from a very simple background. You learn it from somewhere. If you want to go into fashion design, for instance, or you want to go into trading, for instance, at the end of the day, now I'm now a graduate, let me go to Kantekwari, where they are selling clothes, fabrics. Let me start from there, hanging out with them, knowing how they move this consignment from here to there, how they name these clothes.
Ibrahim, what you are talking about is the apprenticeship system that obtains in the Southeast.
In the Southeast.
Exactly, that's what you're talking about.
And that's why you hardly see somebody from the Southeast.
They might get the degrees for the sake of
it's just school, paper,
but they create their own employment most of the time.
And you don't see them making noise.
No.
You see, if we create, I'm happy with that word we brought in. The apprenticeship scheme will work better in the north, and some are implementing it. If you go around today, if you need fresh oranges, tomatoes and all that, average northerners are the ones selling it because they are very industrial, very enterprising people. I mentioned it some times ago. Someone I met recently, about 3 months ago, selling oranges, we're chatting because I like to engage them. He said, look, Mr. Ibrahim, I've been looking for, a loan of about, say, 200,000 naira to support my business. I said, okay, come to think of it, what do you need this money for? He said, look, you see this 200,000 naira. I know when oranges sells more. I know the season. You see, my idea is I want to expand the scope of my business because instead of moving from here to here, I want to have a place I can position my wheelbarrow. So if you see it in heap, it's very attractive. You see, he sells all these oranges, but he sells them in one day. So if he has huge capital like 200,000, he can generate 400,000 every day. That is one. Go to town, go to Apple. There's somebody I knew. I was there. He started by selling this Indomie and chai,
that's tea. Yeah.
Tea in a small corner. Today, he has a whole shop. He has built 2 houses through these businesses. You see, it's about putting your intelligence to use. It's about, studying the environment where you want to start this business before anybody comes in. Abuja has purchasing power. And people, you see them driving these expensive vehicles, they park to shop.
They do.
That's one. Some of them will buy the oranges. They say, give me the rent of 5,000 naira. Give me the rent of 2,000 naira. They hardly wait for you to count these oranges. Okay? So there are so many ways you can make money if you go to other areas. So, and that's why I say it start with, an apprenticeship scheme, even if you're in school.
Doesn't stop you.
It doesn't stop you.
Yeah.
I train my kids along that line. Everybody is trading now in my house. Okay? Because I say acquire these skills is going to help you in the future. So if you acquire these skills, if I give you say 500,000 or 300,000, I don't need to give you any money again. You can sponsor yourself in school.
Yeah.
So if we can try this, like what Dangote is doing in Kano recently, it's been long, through his mother, Haja Maria, I like it. On a daily basis, there's a consignment of food that is going out of the compound to feed so many families. One day I sat there, okay, if I have my way, I will advise Dangote, instead of this consignment going to so many homes, let me send them to schools nearby. My target is primary 1 to primary 6 children, so that I can drag them back to school. So if there's an announcement that these trucks, about 20 leaving the compound per day, this week we are going this way, the other week we are going this way. Look, by the time these kids get used to free meals, you are dragging them back to this classroom. You don't make it regular. Maybe this week you share to this, you move around. It's more profitable
than just
than just give it. So, and again, so that is why I said what Dangote is doing, Boa do the same thing. Okay, we have other traders doing the same thing. You will hardly find anybody on the street begging, because the essence of begging, okay, you want to beg to do what?
To survive.
To survive.
To eat.
Okay, you have avenue, so you can clear up the street. So that's why I said, even if it comes with a warranty over the years that, it's an age-long tradition, people must go through this skill. No, but science, technology has taken other places to another level. And Kano today should be competing with areas like Port Harcourt, Enugu and others, not Lagos, because Lagos is in the next 7. So we should, that's why I say the ACF coming out with this statement at this point in time is wrong timing. It's not necessary. It's diversionary,
exactly.
And at the same time,
we should be busy with governance right now.
It's provocative. Okay, because as far as I'm concerned, President, wherever I go, I keep saying I'm not his media handler. I'm not his fan. But see, my concern is whoever God has given us as a leader, if you don't talk well about him, don't talk down on that person. It's not right. Because we prayed for leadership and God has given it to us. So we should appreciate what we have before we lose him.
Wow. I'm afraid, Ibrahim, when I put this on the cards, I thought that you were going to be ACF spokesman, but you proved me wrong. But the truth has to be told. The truth just has to be told, and you've done justice to it. And I think that we can just round this up, maybe in about 2 or 3 minutes, and as we ask you for your last line, particularly on the ACF matter.
You see,
if you had Bashir Dalhatu, the leader, if you had him in the studio now, or if you had him in your house now, or somewhere private, what would you be telling him?
The good thing is I should be traveling, and the next time I'll meet somebody I see as a mentor is this, sir. With due respect, the first thing you should do is consultation, open consultation. You see, these people should come to visit you. His Excellencies, you should build capacity in such a way that you become the mouthpiece of the North, and they should relate with you. And to get to that point, you should lead by example. Not about building, sentiments, and at the same time, creating acrimony across board. We don't need that. These are diversions. So engaging these excellencies, especially, I like what Obasanjo is doing in Kaduna right now. Okay, it's not about politicking, it's about working. Bauchi governor is doing well. Sokoto, in fact, my number 1 is Borno State governor. I give him terms. I think he deserves an international award. He has lived up to expectations. So we can, begin to rub minds with this kind of people. What are they doing differently? Exactly. It's not about politicking, please. Please. We should put politics aside. We should look at areas that we need to improve on, because it's about improving the lives of those people we are leading. Simple.
Thank you, Ibrahim. We will need to leave it here today, and tomorrow is another day. And I hope that that which we have discussed is something that resonates with you. Everybody should be interested in the politics of this country. Everybody should be interested in the economy of this country. We started with the economy when we talked about the debt trap. For me, I think that we are getting entrapped in the debt trap. But Ibrahim has said there's really nothing to worry about, that these steps so far are good steps, and that in short order we will see the value, the profit. I hope so. I hope so, and I pray so, Ibrahim.
I see that happening.
All right. And then for the ACF, well, he has spoken directly to the issue and said this is not the time for this. This is diversionary, and you can do better, ACF. So I think that we leave it here, and I want to say thank you for coming, and thank you for your very clear-cut points. Anybody listening or watching you knows exactly where you stand. Sometimes there are analysts, and I think that you also do that sometimes. There are analysts who don't want you to catch them in a particular place. they are not in the north, they are not in the south, they are not in the east, they are not in the west, they are not here neither on the right or the left.
Yes,
but clearly you have come out very clearly today, and I commend that. Thanks for coming, and when we do call you again, please, we look forward to having you several other times.
Thank you for having me.
And I would really say a big thank you to the production team. You do a marvelous job all the time. Thank you for the back-end support. Without you, this part of it will be meaningless. Thank you, kudos. And thank you also to the producer of the program. Thank you to all those our very fervent, avid watchers. Please stay tuned to KAFTAN Television and tell your neighbors that this is where it is happening. Thank you very much. And at this point, we leave.